again. Excited to have a phenomenal coach and leader in the network and in the industry really as a whole, but someone I consider a close friend. I remember when I started Beachbody, one of my first leadership retreats, her and her husband were some of the first people I talked to and welcomed me with open arms. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I still don't, but it's just always been just impressed and I just think the world of, this coach, Jatana, and her family are just awesome, just great people. But, on the coaching side, she's kind of done it all, as a coach, but there's still a lot to do. She's a multiple-time elite coach, 6-time elite coach. Wait, 8? 7. We know how to count, don't we? I can't see how many fingers you're holding up, Jatana. You're gonna have to unmute and tell me. But
sorry, so I was like, wait, how many fingers is 7? It's been that kind of morning. 7 times, sorry.
7 times. See, it threw me off because I see your portrait in the back that says 2-time. That was a long time ago. But anyway, 7-time elite coach, just awesome accomplishments in this business, like consistently at the top of our ranking systems and accomplishments, and she has some great insight to share with us all today. So really excited to hear from her. As always, when there's questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll ask them throughout the call and towards the end of the call as well. So Jatana, I'm going to toss the mic to you, my friend. I appreciate you taking time. She's a busy mom, a head cheer coach at the local high school, renovating her house, and she found some time for us today. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me. It's always an honor to talk to coaches because it just means that you guys trust me. So thank you, Jeff, for asking me to speak today. This business, I've been doing it for 7 years, which is crazy to think about. It'll be 8 years in January. And it has completely changed, as many of you probably can even tell in even 6 months in your own journey, it's changed the trajectory of my family. Here I am, I'm sitting, I'm looking at the water and palm trees in Florida, which was on my vision board years ago when I was living in Northern Virginia. And this time of year would be cold. The time change would happen, so it would be gloomy and gray outside. And now I'm kind of living out my vision board. So it is possible, you guys, but it takes some consistency, and it takes these moments that we're in right now. This time of year, I tell this to my team, and it's pretty cool. Hi, Yolanda. Yolanda's on our team. It's cool to see my coaches on here as well. But I tell my team this all the time. This season that you're in right now is one of the hardest seasons, I believe, as a coach, because not only are we personally distracted with all the things we have going on in our lives, but so is all of our followers and our friends and our family members. So it's really not the easiest season to coach in, but it's actually it's the season that creates the biggest momentum going into 2021. And I kind of want you guys to think about, and I'm going to keep this short because he said 10 to 20 minutes. I'm like, oh Lord, I usually speak an hour. I'm going to consolidate it down. So if you have questions, please post them and I'll address this at the end. But 2021, you guys, is going to be the most insane New Year's celebration that we've ever had in our lifetime. Think about if you were coaching in the previous years, last year, maybe the past 3 years, every year has this new me, new fresh start. Even if you weren't a coach for decades, us humans have always said, it's the new year. I'm going to do things different. I'm going to start fresh. And so this new year is like none in our lifetime. So you kind of have to think about that really, really deeply in terms of all the pain and pleasure points that we have going on right now. Because what you have to offer and the light that you can be in people's worlds right now is massive. And I'm not talking about just let's get fit this year. Let's focus on being healthy this year. No. This is next level, something we've never seen before. And so I try to really keep that in perspective when I'm sharing on social media and when I'm inviting to my challenge groups, when I'm inviting to coaching, is that we're coming up to a season that everybody just wants a breath of fresh air. Everybody wants to get rid of COVID. We want to stop it. Well, y'all aren't dealing with election stuff. Us in the United States, we're dealing with the crazy election stuff. We would like to get rid of the election stuff and just smile and be happy and be around our family members and just go about our lovely lives without all the stress that we had in 2020. And so really take that time leading into this last couple months of the year and really be intentional when you're sharing. And so that's really, really important. So I'm just kind of setting the stage for you because this huge wave comes in late December, early January, and in February. And I use this analogy a lot, and I'm sure other coaches have as well, but it's very much like surfing. Hi, I'm in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We're like the capital of surfing, 11-time world champion Kelly Slater's hometown, okay? And when you surf, you're sitting on a board, right? And the wave's coming, and if the wave's coming and you don't like start paddling really hard, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be engulfed by this wave, right? It's going to topple over you. But if you're doing your due diligence in your business, and let's align this analogy, and you are paddling hard, and you're like, I don't know why I'm paddling hard, but apparently there's a wave coming. And that wave a lot of times is that December, January, February, which rolls right into the shore for the rest of 2021. And you have to paddle hard when you don't see a ton of results right now. Because it's super important. And it's really hard to teach that to a newer coach because they haven't been able to see the fruit of it before. And so they're kind of going on blind faith that this is going to come. And they have to stick with this business when they feel like they're getting paid 30 cents an hour, right? When they're working. But it does, I promise you, going into 8 years strong, it comes every time and it rides right into the rest of 2021. So insane consistency, you guys, right now, is the most crucial thing for you in your business, right? In your trackers, this is a little tracker I use, in your tracker, and in your workouts. Because if you are not being proofed, I know this is like preaching to the choir, if you're not being proof that the products work, why would anybody want to order anything from you once New Year's comes around, right? They need to see that you're showing up when nobody else is showing up. And so that consistency is really, really huge. Now let's kind of shift our focus a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that that mindset is instilled in you because it's so, so important right now as we leave the most horrible year in our lifetime. It's been a great year, but a lot of horrible things have happened and we're ready to move on. So we're going to moving into 2021. People are ready for a fresh start. People are ready for health. I mean, at what point in our lifetime has health been such a major center focus in almost everybody's brain? Everybody. It's right now whenever we are hopefully getting rid of COVID and moving on to a more healthier version of ourselves and not have to stress about that anymore. So some things that I can control, right? I can't control all the chaos around me, but I can control my business and I can control my health and fitness journey. And I'm not going to preach on the health and fitness journey too much because you guys are already you're in this, you're doing your workouts, you're doing your nutrition, stick with that. And show up every single day for that. Show up for your audience. Let them see it. Don't press pause. Don't go on, Thanksgiving vacation and not show. Guess what? When I'm on Thanksgiving vacation, I can still get my workout in. It's really, really important. But in terms of business things that you can be doing to kind of set yourself apart, I kind of transitioned. Actually, it's funny that we're in an election year in the U.S. I transitioned 4 years ago from Facebook to IG for this very reason. Because 4 years ago, Facebook was so incredibly toxic and I didn't like it. So I went over to IG because it was a lot more playful and fun. And my business started to really take off. Again, it hit this lull where I was getting bored and I was getting sad and depressed from looking at Facebook and having to be on it all the time. So I went over to IG and my business started taking off again. And IG was such a beautiful, flourishing place. So I want to give you some tips on Instagram that'll really help you grow in your business that I found have been really helpful for me. So number one, this is going to sound really cliche, but I'll explain. You need to have a powerful call to action all the time. If you ever watch any of the top coaches, Holly Hillier is she's the militant of call to action, right? Watch her story. She is so insanely consistent at it. I'm like, girl, how do you do it? She's top coach. There's a reason why, right? Success leaves clues. So powerful call to action all the time. I'm talking about in your stories, in your post, every day, doing it could be subliminal, it could be straight to your face, it could be structured and pretty and marketing, but call to actions have to happen on a daily basis. It takes somebody several times for it to sink in that you're actually asking them to join their challenge group or asking them to join your team. And if you don't ask on a regular basis, it's not going to sink in that you're talking to them, or that you have an opportunity that you're offering them. So number one, powerful call to action. Have you done a call to action today on your stories? Have you done a call to action today on your posts? If not, make it a habit all the way until New Year's. And you should keep going with that. But if you're real consistent right now, it's really going to pay off for you going forward. Number two, this one I don't think everybody gets, and I love studying social media. Marketing is my degree, so I just actually enjoy trying to figure out new ways to do things. But why would anybody comment on your post or interact with your story? You have to think about that every single time you put a story out there or a post out there. Why would anybody want to comment on it? And that's really important because the whole point of you showing up is building connections and relations with people that are following you, right? Creating those bonds, because Instagram acknowledges it as a bond when somebody is actually interacting with your post or your stories, meaning they share it or they save it or they comment on it. But when the only thing that you can control is trying to get people to interact with you. For example, one of the best things that you could do is create like threads within your post. Have you ever looked at like a celebrity post and it's like one person commented and like 1,200 people commented underneath it, and you're like, what the heck? What's going on down here? Like you're reading, being all nosy, what's going on? We're not going to have that. I mean, if you do, like high five to you. But creating those type of conversation threads within a post is gold, because that's when you're posting. Your IG needs to be public. Let me just put that out there because it's not going to be on an explore page if it's a private page. But creating those type of thread environments on your post is really, really valuable. The first 30 minutes of your post is actually the most crucial. So if you post and within the first 30 minutes, you get some interaction, meaning, you know, say Zena comments on my post. He goes, oh my gosh, those are cute pants. Where'd you get them from? I just got them on Amazon. They're whatever, and they're $19.99. What kind do you usually buy? Well, I usually go to Forever 21. And we're going back and forth in a conversation. That's what you want in your post. Don't take it to a private message. You can if it gets like to a point where you really need to have a private conversation. But the best thing you can do is continue to have interaction. And all of a sudden Yolanda's reading it and Yolanda's like, oh, I get mine at Amazon too. They're the best. I just got the pink colors in the other day. And everybody's interacting. One of the things that you can do to boost that, and I created one for myself, is I created a pod group, not on Facebook, not on IG, but on a different communication app. You can use WhatsApp or whatever. But I have a group of girls who, when I post, I share that I posted, and they interact with some sort of interactive post, meaning they comment with a question, or I can interact back and then they comment back. We don't go too much back and forth, but trying to create that momentum early on. Now, the people in my pod group are not coaches. I have a pageant girl, because that's one of my niches, whatever you want to call it. I have a coastal home decor girl who has a page on coastal home decor. I have a girl that decorates cookies for like schools. So anything that you can cross-pollinate with, that you can interact with each other, meaning the pageant girl, the home coastal decor girl, the girl that makes these cute decorative cookies, and we all interact with each other. Our audiences are starting to blend, and we actually benefit from each other. So maybe one of my moms wants to buy cookies from this girl who makes the cookies, or wants to go to the Like to Know It page of the coastal home decor, which is something that I love as well, because I live here at the beach, so I shop there. So that's some suggestions in terms of creating those thread-like things within the first 30 minutes of your post. And it's something I try to do on a regular basis. Number 3, this is going to sound bad, but it's not bad. So hear me out. Be polarizing, right? And I'm not talking about like, go Trump, go Biden, not that kind of polarizing. I mean, to each their own, whatever you want to do. And y'all are in Canada, y'all wouldn't even do that anyways, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's polarizing. That's to the extreme, and we don't really want to go there because you will lose like half your audience, right? It's more in the idea of really understanding who you are. So here's a little example, and it's really silly, but it's my polarizing moment that people can go, you're annoying, or I totally get you, right? So I am not a PTA mom. Do y'all have PTA? Like PTA? I think it's called PTA. Parent, teacher, whatever. I don't like the front desk school ladies. I'm sorry if you are a teacher or you work on the front desk, but I swear they hate me. And then I walk in the front desk of the school, and they're like, oh, here's my mom again that forgot her kid's lunch. Like, I get like heart palpitations walking in there, like, they don't like me. They're like mean and stern. Anyways, on my stories, I like share those little moments that are polarizing, where one of my followers could probably say, I'm a front desk lady. Like, I'm not that mean. Why are you judging me? And we would have that conversation, but I get a lot of moms who are like, oh my gosh, I feel you, girl. So it's okay it's actually a very, very healthy to have those little polarizing things that are you, because you're going to find your people that you can speak directly to. I love country music. I don't like rock. I don't really like rap too much. I am like, if you follow me, you know I love country music. My followers, if they hate country music, they're probably going to hate watching my stories, because that's literally all they get most of the time. So I like a little 90s hip hop, but otherwise it's country all the way, right? That's polarizing. If somebody hates it, they're probably not gonna like it, but the people that love it are gonna get me, and they're gonna get me 100%. So be polarizing, find those things about you, and share that. I use this example at Summit, and I'm trying not to go over, sorry, Jeff. I use this example at Summit between Melanie Mitro and I, which I feel like we're so different. She's super successful. I feel like my business is very successful, and we are so polar opposite. Same with maybe Holly Hillier. I've been following her recently. She's a top coach, and I like to, learn from her and see the things that she's doing. But I am energetic, out there, obnoxious, dancing on countertops, playing Luke Bryan, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then when you watch somebody like Holly or even Melanie, they are more quiet, and they're giving instruction, and they're talking at their computer. If we were to switch places and do what each other's doing because we think that's successful, it would actually be awkward. It would be awkward if I were to jump on my stories and be like, all right, guys, today I'm going to give you Business Tip Tuesday. Like my followers would be like, no, that's not fun. Like, can you get up and dance while you're doing that kind of thing, right? And same if Melanie were to get up on her countertop and start dancing to Luke Bryan with her shake or energize, y'all be like, oh my gosh, Melanie's off a rocker, you guys. Maybe it would create, because y'all would all be sharing it. All I'm trying to say is be you, and own that, and allow that polarizing to really draw people to create connections with you. Number 4, be shareable. Find these fun things that people can share. That is a huge boost in algorithms when somebody shares your story or somebody tags you in something. One powerful thing that I've used in the past couple of years is I create a Spotify list. I'm known for country music, right? That's my polarizing thing. So I create a Spotify list, and all my followers, they like to use my Spotify list, and they will tag me in it and share when they're listening to it. That gets more eyes on me. The people that follow them come check out, who's this girl that's got the Spotify list, right? That's one little example. Adding value. I don't remember who said it, leadership, but vulnerability, value, and viral are like the 3 main areas in which you should be posting. They should fall into those categories. And in terms of being shareable, value is huge. So for example, if I found, and this is a great value adder, y'all, if y'all don't have this charger, I don't know if Canada has different outlets, but this is the best wall charger ever. Because look, this is something I would do on a story. You got that, whatever the Android thing is, you got that, and you got this. So now you no longer have a cord that you got to plug into the wall to charge your battery. Just plug it in the wall, and it's got all the pieces on there, and you don't lose anything, right? That's value adding. I just added value to y'all. Y'all go on Amazon and buy this. It's amazing. Putting that on my stories adds value. People share it. People click on it if you have more than 10,000 followers, and people come back to you because you're always giving them little tidbits of advice and value, right? And everybody has different things that they're good at. If you're good at makeup, share makeup tutorials. If you find fun finds on Amazon, pick a day where you're always sharing your fun finds on Amazon. I know as women, we love We love to hear what other people are finding useful. So make sure, number 4, be shareable, and you have to be public on your page for it to be shareable, okay? Number 5, this sounds rough around the edges too, but hear me out. Don't be an IG snob, okay? We always like getting comments and we always like getting views, but what are we doing with those? We always like when people like our posts, but what are we doing with it? What happens is IG sees it as, oh, okay, so we put you in front of people, they liked it, they're watching your stories, but you're not going to interact with them? Whoop, you're going to lower down the algorithm rule. You're not going to be seen as much. We're not going to put you on the explore page. But if you're doing your due diligence and you're actually interacting with those that like your posts, you're interacting with those that comment, you go and watch the people's stories that are watching your stories, then what happens is Instagram sees that as a bond and they start to cross-pollinate things. So for example, if Holly Woodward, an IG girl that's an influencer, I love all of her stuff, I'm always watching her stories. If she were to interact with mine and watch mine, her incredible audience would start cross-pollinating with mine. And so her people would start to see my stuff in their explore page. So number 1, powerful CTAs all the time. Number 2, you got to create those why would people comment type things on your post. Number 3, make sure you're polarizing in some sense, right? Don't just be all the other coaches, be you and be true to who you are. Number 4, you got to find things that are shareable because that's the stuff that really benefits you in terms of algorithms. And then number 5, don't be an IG snob. Make sure you're creating those bonds that Instagram can say, you know what, she's creating bonds. She's showing up on Instagram. She's making other people show up as well. And then lastly, you know, we're coming into a launch, so have a plan going into this launch. Right now, our team is already planning our posts today for Control Freak, and we are reverse engineering that all the way until launch day so that we feel prepared. And so if you don't know what to do with that, reach up to your upline, reach out to Jeff, but you really should be starting that snowball effect right now as we lead into Control Freak coming out. So that's what I got for you today. I tried to talk as quick as possible without talking too fast. Any questions?
No, that was great, Jatana. I know I took notes on those 5 recommendations and
You're muted.
Oh, I'm muted, unmuted, and then I muted myself. I was just going to say, you can probably hear my kiddos just got home. So if you hear them in the background a little bit, my wife's trying to corral them upstairs real quick. But no, that was really, really good. I love those suggestions. And you know, I've heard you share some of that before at our different events, but some of the things that stood out to me that I don't think we can ever do enough of, and it's a tough thing to do, but having a powerful call to action in all things, right? Mm-hmm. To make that a habit. I mean, I've only worked for corporate guys. I'm not a coach, and I would be like your most solid Ruby ever, and probably that would be my ceiling. You guys are all going to be 10-star Diamond Elite, fantastic coaches if you aren't already. But for me, finding a way to put a call to action in every post or every engagement or every comment, hard thing to do. But like you said, when you can do that, hey guys, you got to talk quiet. Working from home, guys.
Okay.
But when you can do that, find that call to action and have that invite in there. Sometimes we just kind of, I think we plant the seed, right? We put the seed in the ground. We're going to make a post and people are going to interact or people are going to like it. That's great. You're getting exposure that way. You got to water that seed. You got to fertilize it. You got to cultivate it. And carving time out to go and comment or to like these different posts, I think is just it's a small, tangible activity that maybe doesn't always have the return on investment you want to see immediately, but the long-term result can be great. So I love that. And I've got a couple questions that a couple coaches sent over that I'll pitch real quick for you. One of the questions that someone sent over, they couldn't be on the call because they're working right now, but they wanted to know, is there anything that you're doing right now, you know, several years into this business to Jatana, it's not your name, Jatana. Yeah, I know. Is there anything you're doing in this business now that you were doing day one that you haven't changed? Like, and what is that?
So it's funny you asked that because I was just talking about this with one of my coaches. Every month, I give myself a goal of what I want to do in terms of recruiting and Success Club. And for the past 7 years, I've had this really like cheesy calendar, right? You know, typical paper calendar. and I'm a pen and paper kind of person, and I've done this every month, and it helps me stay focused. I give myself a goal, so I'll show you December's, right? I want 20 coaches recruited. This is so elementary looking that I'm writing like 1 through 20 on here. But when I first started, it was 2 coaches. I wanted 2 coaches that month, right? And I would write number 1 and number 2. And it started out with just a post-it note because my recruitment was so low because I was just starting out. And recruiting 2 coaches a month, that's okay if you're just starting out. So I put 2 coaches, so don't ever hear other coaches say 20 and go, oh my God. Set your goal of what you want in terms of the pace you want your business to go. But from day one, I gave myself a goal. Success Club, right, is always a goal. But in terms of recruiting, I always put number 1, number 2, and then it grew to 5, and then it grew to 10, and a lot of times it's 20, right? And so I will put names. Patricia signed up, Zena signed up, Yolanda signed up. And when the end of the month comes and I had 5 people, 1 through 5 written there, and there's 2 spots left, I know that I've got to focus. I need to get into my inbox. I need to get into my challenge groups. I need to get back into my follow-ups and conversations so that I can fill those last 2 spots. And I have done that since month 1 as a coach. And I still do it to today. And it's super cheesy and on a piece of paper, but I feel like it helps me stick with being consistent with recruiting.
Well, and whatever that system looks like for all of us, whatever helps us stay consistent in phase 1 activity, recruiting, acquisition, starting conversations, relationship building, I don't think it's a bad practice. And I think we can overcomplicate it. We, myself included, we can overcomplicate that phase 1 activity. So I think that's some sound counsel. Here's another question that someone sent to me. They actually sent it to me last week when they found out you were speaking. So they've been pretty excited to ask this. They said, I've got a couple of great leaders that have been with me for the long haul several years now. They went diamond and they dropped out. Some of them have got it back. Some of them are just struggling with, getting that rank back. Any tips or suggestions on how I can engage these coaches to feel empowered to not just hold that rank, but to push beyond it? So that's a loaded question.
No, I mean, that's a question that I think every coach who has a pretty incredible business really still wrestles with. So that person doesn't need to feel like they're the only one that struggles with that, because I'm looking at my dry erase board and I've got like 6 that are sitting there like they like teeter totter, the heart attack diamonds, right? I have those too. But one of the things that when I'm mentoring somebody who has hit diamond and lost it, or once diamond is really close, really I always go back to that feeling that I had when I was pursuing it. And I had to figure out why I wanted to pursue it. You guys are so willing to do really massive, incredible things when you have a reason of why you're doing it. And so if that coach is just hitting diamond because it's a check mark, or it's something that corporate said is good, or their team celebrates, that's not going to keep them there. It's got to be something bigger than just the team, bigger than just the rank. It's got to be something that they truly want out of this. Who was it, Summer Tucker, who used that analogy of the burning building? It's probably from an author, but you would never run into a burning building for an iPad. You'd be like, psh, okay, I'll get a new one, right? I'll get Diamondback sometime, not a big deal. But if your children were in the burning building, you would, like, the firemen would have to hold you back, right? You would dart into that building, risking your own life to get your kiddos out. And I know that that's a really extreme analogy, but it's the same thing with pursuing any goal in this business, whether it's diamond or 5-star or elite. Like, why are you chasing after that? Because those hard moments are going to come. People are going to tell you no. People are going to make fun of you. You're going to fail at some of the goals. What are you willing to keep pushing for, right? So that you get to where you want to be. And so I would say that to the people who are mentoring those fallen diamonds, like, why do they want to be diamond in the first place? Why do they want to be 2-star? What's getting them there? What's pushing them through the hard stuff?
I dig that. Yes, it's one thing to have a why, but it's also understanding the purpose behind that why. That's key. So thank you for sharing that. I have a question, then we have one more question from a coach, unless others come in. My question, because I'm also a big country music fan, rank these 3. You're going to rank them 1 to 3.
Okay.
Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney, Garth Brooks. And then I have a coaching question again.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All-time concert favorite is Luke Bryan. Like, hello. Okay. Number 2, anytime I'm doing dishes, I always say play Kenny Chesney's radio, because he's got the whole beach vibe going on and it's super chill and relaxing. So that would be number 2. Garth Brooks is a classic, but his music's kind of sucked lately. But I love his old stuff. So that's where I'm at.
That was a very, I
Kenny.
would call that a very polarizing comment on Garth. It's something we talked about, polarizing content. So, no, thanks for indulging me. Here's the other question that a coach sent over is they've been a coach for about, what did they say? I think they said 4 or 5 months. I don't know what they said in the message. I just copied over the question. They've only been a coach about 4 or 5 months. They're running a challenge group. They get some great interest from challengers. Mm-hmm. They struggle with talking about the coaching opportunity and getting these challengers to engage with that. Any tips or advice on how to engage challengers into the coaching opportunity? Again, very loaded question, but
I was like, I can create a whole caller on that. My challenge groups are my training grounds for my coaches. So when I set up a challenge group, which typically is 30 days, everything that I have them do from prep week all the way to the last day of the month is preparing them to be future coaches. I have them get on a Zoom call, which actually the world is now really comfortable with Zoom, but back in the day, like people were like, we're getting on a video chat, that's weird. But now everybody's like, it's normal. So I get them on a video chat. I understand why they're there. Everybody else learns why they're there. Like just like this, say this was our challenge group. Jeff would have to tell me, why did you join this? What do you think your setbacks are to the group, right? And so hearing that really starts to stir their heart of like, there is really a big purpose behind what she's doing with running these groups. And then the different tasks that I give them each day is geared towards grooming them as coaches. So one of the tasks that I love giving them is on day 17. I tell them to post on their actual social media page, whatever they use, IG or Facebook, and share what they love about the group that they're in. And so I'll wake up on day 17 of my challenge group to like all these tagged messages where I get to share it on which is great for my Facebook as well. And it's them sharing what they love about this group. Another thing that I'll do, a little challenge, these daily challenges, is ask them to post who they admire in the group and why. And it's kind of fun because you'll start to see this common person in the group who's not a coach, but they're standing up, they're shining, they're encouraging one another, encouraging other people within the group. And so those little tasks each day kind of gives them that confidence that really they are just as capable as doing it. And I think that Zoom call in the beginning is really, really powerful because like I said, they get to hear, why did Jeff choose to join the group? What is holding him back? And when they hear all these powerful stories from these women all over the country, they start to see the bigger picture. And whenever I say to them, bro, I think you'd be amazing. There's a lot of people in your circle that could use this in their life. It all comes full circle and clicks for them.
I love that. It goes back, for those who were at Summit, I want to say 5 years ago. It may have been when you got that picture behind you. It was in Nashville. And DeWitt Jones, who's a National Geographic photographer, if you remember him, really good speaker, but he talked about looking for ways to put yourself in the place of highest potential, right? And he talked about getting the right shot for a magazine, and he could just take a picture like of this scenery behind me. Yes, I'm in the mountains right now, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm freezing. But no, you could take a picture of this, or if you wait an hour to where the sun's going behind the mountain, you get down on the ground and get a different angle, you put yourself in the place of most potential, right, to get that shot. What you talk about, putting these challengers in a place of high potential in a position of coaching, not that you're trying to sneak coaching into what they're doing or anything, but you're putting them in a place where they can be successful. You're putting them in a place where they can be lifted up by others. I love how you just said, hey, share today someone that you admire in the group and why. Mm-hmm. One, how good does that feel when someone talks about you in that light? Two, how good does it feel when you can help someone else feel that way? Three, Jatana or whoever the coach is backs that up with, that was phenomenal. Like, you would be really good at coaching. Like, you are so good in this group. Like, can you help me co-lead the next one? Like, I think it's just smart relationship building, but it's the right way to build it. And I think that's smart. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. We are going to wrap up. We're 40 minutes into this bad boy. And I know, Jatana, we could just have you go for like 3 more hours. So we'll have to get you back on. But I sincerely appreciate you. I know how much you've got going on with the kiddos and side jobs at the high school and home renos and building your business. So really appreciate you. And you can hear my other guy, little guy now, is hanging out with me now too. But coaches, I appreciate you being on. If there's other questions that you have come out of this call, tag me. I'll message Jatana. We'll ask her those, but really appreciate you. For our coaches, next week on our call, Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern, we will have newly minted, I've never said that before, newly minted, so I'm going to use it now. Newly minted 10-star diamond, Krista Walsh from Pennsylvania. She's gone from new coach to 10-star, I want to say in about 2.5 years, and has some great strategy about what she did to accomplish that. So again, Jatana, thank you so much. We'll post the recording, guys. You are phenomenal and just appreciate you. Let's make it a great, what are we, Thursday now already? Make it a great Thursday. Thanks, guys.